Good morning, afternoon, or evening, wherever you are, and welcome to another NerdTube Star Trek episode review and discussion. I am Majo Rage, your host. It wouldn't be a NerdTube Star Trek episode review without the two gentlemen joining me this evening. To my right, I have Cousin Cheeto. How are you this evening, sir?
Living long and prospering hard, baby.
And below is Zam. How are you, sir?
I'm fine. And regarding Star Trek reviews, without doubt, this is the way.
Dude, I
This
love
is
this
the
comment
way.
already from Daniel Vance. The Mage of Engage.
Make it so.
I think you got a new nickname.
I like it. I like it. Thank you, Daniel Vance. And
I
thanks
like it
to
too.
thanks to everybody who's joining us this evening. Got a pretty episode where a lot happened. Some familiar faces, ones that we were expecting, and one that we were not expecting so much. Um, so I what say we talk about some overall thoughts and then get right into the blow by blow. Cheeto, how did you feel about this episode?
Oh my god, we saw the starships. Yeah, this episode was good. It was nice to finally see, mostly everybody until the very end of the episode, which we'll get into during our spoiler review thoughts. But yeah, I thought this episode was good. There was a lot of reuniting in this episode. I still think it took way too long for us to get the primary group together. But I mean, this was a pretty good episode. I thought that they did the away team thing finally. I mean, how a lot of the past couple episodes have just taken place on board the Titan. So this was actually the first. I'm pretty sure this is the first episode with an actual away mission in it. Where they go over and they do shenanigans and they try to do something on another ship or another station or whatever. So I mean, yeah, they were on Bev's Dr. Crusher's ship in the beginning, but I don't know if I consider that an away mission. That was more like a rescue op. And then
Right.
so anyway, but yeah, they did like a proper away mission in this episode, so I was kind of happy with that. And of course, Riker has to go on the away missions. It cannot be Picard. Always got to be
No.
Riker. So
No.
and Worf has got to avoid big barrels to fall from falling on him. So
Yeah, otherwise he's just fine. He can't die except to barrels.
yes. So anyway, but we'll get into it more detailed in the spoiler.
All right, Zam, what were your overall impressions of the episode?
Very quickly, I just want to respond here to Jim saying, "Where's Boss Man? He doesn't get involved in Star Trek, mate. Maybe the fan film reactions, but when it comes to the reviews of the shows, he's not in. He's never involved in that." And this is also, as well as we already know that Daniel Vance is here, we have also Powerline, formerly known as Bandito Mussolini. And Bandito, welcome to the stream, mate. Yes, we both are, mate. We both are. All right. What pisses me off is how much details have been given away in trailers, because you can see by the way certain things were filmed in this episode that it would have been a real cool moment if we didn't know it was happening. But because we kind of knew certain things were happening during because of the trailers, those revelations in this episode didn't feel as fulfilling as it would have been if we didn't know it was going to happen in the first place. So, and I know we're going to bring it up when we do the play-by-play, but Moriarty, for instance, which was a letdown, but nevertheless, if we didn't see it in the trailer, even then the brief moment of Moriarty would have been cool,
Right.
and
It would have been
we
like
already know it.
Rolaren.
And we know, unless they do a curveball on us regarding law, it's not Data, it's law. So if we didn't see Brent Spiner in any capacity in the trailers, seeing him and thinking, oh God, Data's back. But no, it's law. I mean, my God, that would have been great. But no, it's been sport for us in the fucking trailers. And shit like that pisses me off. It's like fucking Doomsday being revealed in the Batman versus Superman trailer. You want to experience those things in the movie. If we saw Steve Rogers catching the hammer in the trailer, nobody would have lost their shit in the theaters if we already saw it in the goddamn trailer. You understand what I mean? Too much stuff gets revealed in the trailers, and it takes away the moment when you're watching it on the show. And that's my only real issue. Not with this episode, because the episode was good, but just generally. You know what I mean?
Yeah, no, I
Yeah.
try to avoid trailers for that very reason. Anything other than like a teaser, I try to go out of my way to avoid it. But I mean, the nature of being on the internet is you learn the details anyways, so it's almost not
Yeah,
worth.
yeah. I mean, yeah, like things like lore and all that shit. That would have been it would be really difficult to get away from that, regardless.
Mhm.
Like I got pissed off that before I watched Avengers Endgame, somebody already told me fucking Tony Stark was dead, and I was pissed off. Like I didn't get a chance to fuck. And you know where saw that in a chat in some other show I was watching. I was watching in some somebody just typed in trolling Tony Stark's dead. I'm thinking this has got nothing to do with the Avengers, nothing at all. Just somebody wrote that to spoil it for everyone. For fuck's sake. So
What a
yeah,
tool.
yeah, I know. Anyways,
But no, I agree with you guys. A pretty good episode this week. So we'll dive right in. We start with Starfleet ships warping in on the Titan's transponder buoy. Shrike and Vatic are there searching too. She gives a monologue about getting vengeance on the Federation, then having peace, um, where she uses the words "we" and "brothers and sisters," and just kind of heavily implying that she's a changeling. Uh,
I mean, we kind
uh,
of knew that in the last was it the last episode? No, it was the episode before where she like cut her hand and then like the goo
the
like it turned
yeah,
into like
but
that communication thing.
that was hard
Yeah,
to tell. Still, I mean,
without the
even
context, and I
yeah.
forgot that scene. But
For
no,
we
you're
know,
right.
if we know, she had like a changeling radio device, implanted in her hand or something, and that was the only way she could
No,
communicate.
I just I knew she was a changeling at that
I
point.
I felt she was because prior to her revelation, she mentioned we as in the changelings prior to the revelation. So I kind of had the feeling she was, but it was confirmed by the end of the episode anyway. So
Yeah, definitely some heavy foreshadowing here for folks that aren't as on the ball as Cheeto, our great predictor.
Okay,
hmm
I'm just
I have to be.
I'm just as wrong as I
I
am right. So
have to be honest with you. I have been pretty wrong on a lot of things regarding my predictions. The amount of times my testicles have been given away, to the betting gods is unbelievable. I've just got it wrong, 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 and so I'm happy about that. Don't get me wrong, no pun intended. But I am happy about that. It's good to be wrong on certain things.
Oh yeah, sometimes it's nice when they surprise us for sure.
Mhm.
before you jump further, Mage, sorry, let's do a couple comments here since they're starting to build up.
Nice.
So obviously Daniel Vance says that's why I avoid all but the preseason trailers, of course. Powerline says Cheeto looks pissed. I am pissed, but you don't know why. I get Jim says, "Oi, hey Zam and Cheeto, I lost my bunny," and that's like, how did it go from Cockney to like Jamaican? I don't even know. Okay,
I don't know.
I lost
I don't
my
know, but
boon
look,
name. Just FYI.
I'm calling you Boone out of reaction. It's just how
And
I know you.
Daniel Vance even says it. Nope, you're Boone. You'll always be Boone. So
Yeah.
you are and forever will be known as Boone. The decoy transponder at the start of the resembled the updated versions of Nomad from TOS, the Changeling. Speaking of changelings, Vatic says there will be Unity again. Unity, the episode of Voyager where Chakotay becomes part of the cooperative of former Borg. I do remember that episode actually. Yeah, it is very interesting to note that Chakotay was a part of the Borg, technically a collective of Borg-ish before anyone other than Picard, that came back. And I know he wasn't like assimilated, but he was, you know. So, and then nope, not
Consciousness was
anymore. Boo
joined.
name was created by another production. Okay, well,
Yeah. Whatever.
you'll still. But I
Whatever.
mean, we'll put a little R. Is there a little R after it? Because that it doesn't matter. We'll just still call you Boone, and if there unless there's an R after it, it doesn't matter. That means
You
it's
can
not
take the E off
copyrighted.
to Boone and you can still call yourself Boone without the E at the end.
We'll just call you Commodore Boomer.
Yeah. Boomer. Yeah. All
All
right.
right, I'm sorry, Majo Rage. Take it
So
away.
So no, Vatic kills a dissenting bridge officer, and then the speech culminates with "We will rise," and we get the credits.
Are all of them on the now? I'm asking in general. Are all of the members of that crew changelings, or some of them like other races? And like Vatic is a changeling.
It doesn't seem clear
Okay,
yet,
I
but I mean they said early on that the faces and races of the people coming after them, them being Bev and Jack, kept changing. So kind of implies that the whole crew is changelings, but she kills other ones without a hesitation.
Yep. And I agree. Daniel Vance, the Vedic, does kill a member of her crew. No changeling had harmed another changeling until Odo. But this could be more of a dissident version of of the changelings. Maybe they aren't a part of the Great Link. Maybe they're a little more fast and loose with those rules of not harming another. Maybe I don't know. I mean, I'm just saying probably not. You're probably right. No changeling has ever harmed another is a big plot point in DS9 with the changelings, and that's why Odo got as far as he did. Metalis
maybe
confirmed the crew are all changeling.
Well, maybe it took someone like Odo to start the snowball effect, and now he was the first one to do it. Now everyone can do it. So happy days.
Maybe.
So after the credits, we cut to Bev's been testing Jack, and it's revealed that he has Irumodic syndrome. She sends Jean-Luc.
See, this is where I was wrong. I thought people would discard this shit.
Oh, but is this actually what it is, or is this a red herring? I think it's a red herring, the Irumodic syndrome. To do all that stuff with the visions and the red door and the voices, just to brush it away with an explanation after half the season.
Oh, and on top of that, remember no, hold on. But remember, his eyes went red, and then he killed some security officers. So there's definitely, as Zam calls it, there's definitely some Jason Bourne shenanigans going on here.
Yeah.
The Irumodic, what is it? How do you
Irumodic.
say it? Irumodic syndrome. Like I feel like that is a red herring, and I feel like that's a poor red herring because it's like. Would they not have tested that when he would would Bev would have known that he had it? She would have tested for it.
No, but she mentioned it in this episode. She mentioned that she had it, and she was like treating him for it. She mentioned all of that.
No, she just found out this episode, right?
She just did the tests in between the last scene of last week's episode and her first scene on this week's episode.
Yes.
And started the treatment.
What a fucking lousy doctor is she then? Not to
that's what I'm saying. It makes no sense. That makes no sense.
I mean,
Jesus.
Genetic testing pre-birth is kind of getting less and less, or more and more common even today. You'd think by their time it would just be routine, especially to look for something as big as Irumodic syndrome.
Yeah.
Especially if you knew that Picard had it as well.
It's hereditary. Yeah, I mean, they've even said it's hereditary.
Yeah. All right.
So Jean-Luc goes to the Hollow 10 forward to try to unburden Jack, who is there pounding bourbon. He says, celebrating the fact that he's not crazy. He's coping with jokes. Then he lashes out at Jean-Luc, and maybe I was doomed before I was even born. So pretty heavy scene there. Okay.
Because Shinzon mentioned he had it as well, didn't he?
Yeah, but it was what was the other disease Picard had growing up? Was it
baldness?
Well, besides baldness.
Not sure.
Fuck knows, man. He seems to be suffering from the guy seems to be a walking fucking the guy he should be like Bubble Boy the way they're going on about him right now.
True.
Yeah.
In the transporter room, Raffi and Worf arrive on the Titan. Riker is shocked by the changes in Worf, and Raffi and Seven are just a little bit awkward post-breakup. It's implied that this is the first time they've seen each other since. We have an expository
I,
briefing.
I just want to say that I'm surprised that regardless of Worf not liking hugs, I ain't seen you in almost I ain't seen you in almost a dozen years. I'm gonna give you a big fat ass fucking hug. And then Beverly didn't give a shit. She's a hugger anyway. She hugs everyone. You know what I mean? So
Right.
yeah.
At the expository briefing, a plan is. They think the plan of the changelings is tied to Frontier Day. They come up with a plan to break into Daystrom to obtain the project manifest and figure out what the real weapon that was stolen is. They warp in and hide behind a moon.
Very
And
Wrath of Khan of them.
So sorry to hold you there.
no,
So
go for it.
and somebody said it's to steal the diamonds to lure you away from believing that you're going to steal the pearls. Or I forgot how the phrase works, but the point is that have we got any indication of what the fuck's going on? Regarding this distraction, they destroyed that Starfleet Academy as a distraction for what? Any ideas, guys?
Sorry, I was reading up on this on Picard's illnesses. What was that?
I'm just saying, they destroyed that Starfleet Academy in episode 1 as a distraction for something else.
It was
Do we have
a
any ideas?
recruitment center. It was not academy.
Yeah,
It was
yeah.
not-
All right, okay. I'm sorry, but you know what I'm saying.
Well, I mean,
The
I'm just
point is
saying,
that
like you made it sound like it was
that
like
place-
on Earth, but
okay, yeah, that place was destroyed
okay.
for as a distraction for something else. Have we got any idea yet? Because I haven't got a fucking Scooby.
I think it was just a distraction. Like I don't think it was.
Yeah, we know that, but for what reason?
because they were. I
Have we
think
got
they
enough?
were.
We haven't got. There's no bigger
I-
picture in play yet, is there?
I've got no guess as to what the bigger, badder weapon might be. I imagine
No,
it'll
they kind of
require a lot
revealed
of special effects.
No, they revealed at the end of the episode what they
What
stole.
what they stole,
Yeah.
but how will they weaponize that?
Oh, who knows? I mean, they're bringing Shinzon back. Who knows? I mean, it's a Jack. That's what one thing that doesn't make sense here is that like okay, if it has to do with Jack, why do they need Jack? Is it because Shinzon is back? Wouldn't that be
Jack
kind
is
of
the MacGuffin, dude.
no? But here's the thing: why did Shinzon want Picard in Nemesis?
He wanted
take
him for
His organs,
to help his organs, yeah,
because he was
something to heal him.
degrading. So
Yeah.
maybe they want to take Jack for whatever clone Picard they made. I'm telling you, there's something going on with this whole clone Picard thing, and that just at the end of the episode, that just
go
kind of
down that well again.
they
Oh,
could
man,
be
I
going
hope
down the
not.
Shinzon well. Wouldn't it be amazing if Tom Hardy showed up? Like, would it be great storytelling? Not so much, but would it be hilarious? Yeah.
I don't know if Tom Hardy would want to show up because he thought he ruined his career with that role, and he turned to drugs and alcohol for a little while afterwards.
Oh, I know. But maybe he. I don't know. Maybe he's gotten. He obviously
over
is
it,
doing much better.
He
for
should get
himself.
over it because his fucking career is enormous.
Mhm.
You know what I mean? He's fucking Eddie Brock. He's done so many other things. He's been in some amazing films. You know,
Mad
he's
Max.
been in like big budget movies to art house films. He's done it all.
Mhm.
You know, and he's fucking Bane. You know,
Oh yes, the best Bane ever.
mate, I thought he was a great Bane.
I thought he was a good Bane. I just thought that his gimmick was a little bad. Like, the whole mask and like all he was a good Bane per se, but like the mask thing and everything like that was stupid. Anyway, yeah. All right. Anyway,
sorry.
back to Mage. Back to you.
Yeah.
With further discussion of the episode, so Rafi, Worf, and Number One have an hour or less to get inside, find the mainframe, get the project manifest, and get out of there. It's funny. I was going through my notes, and on the finale of season 2 of Picard, one of my last notes is, "Are they getting the crew back together, Ocean's 11 style?" And now we've got a heist kind of this episode. I just thought that was like, huh. So they're going to use the key that they got from Kryn, the Klingon gangster from last episode.
The Vulcan gangster.
Vulcan. Oh my lord, sorry. misspeaking all over.
It's all right.
Man, we gotta make sure that we say it all correct because the nerds will come out and say, actually, it's a Vulcan.
No, I mean, I'm usually that guy, so I don't want to misspeak. So the Starfleet ships start arriving. So Shaw wonders how they were found. The Titan heads to Althan Prime, leaving the away team to fend for themselves.
Is that like Shaw's sole purpose is to question how they've been found? Like, isn't that exactly like he was the one who was like when they were in the nebula, he's bleeding out on a medical bed, and he's like, how did they find us? Like that's his job now, is to just be like, try to bring revelations to how we're found.
I mean, it seemed like they didn't know what to do with him this week. He was just in a couple of scenes, and they gave all of his typical type of jokes to Riker.
Yeah, I really do feel like, and I noticed this, and I was going to bring it up later.
He was sitting in the background and everything.
Yeah, they definitely relegated him to a background role this week because, I mean, with more crew members coming together, like, you know, with Raffi and Worf now being on the Titan, it definitely seems like Mason is getting Mason, right? Did I say that right? Yeah.
No, it's Shaw, isn't it?
Oh, Shaw. Yeah, I don't know why I said
Liam
Mason.
Shaw. Is it Liam Shaw? I think.
Yeah, Liam Shaw. You're right. I'm stupid. But yeah,
Mason
like
is Tyler fucking from fucking the Avalon universe.
oh yeah, that's right. Yeah, Tyler Mason. Yeah. Anyway, but I really feel like that Shaw's getting relegated to a background character now. Like he, you know, him geeking out with LaForge and all that. And I know we're not there yet, but we'll get there soon. And you know, the whole how do they find us? Like that's it. Like that is his entire contribution this episode. And like it's, I'm not a huge fan of Shaw, but I hate it seeing like.
He seems to be very popular with everyone else.
He is very popular. He's a meme lord right now. Like he is on like every meme right now.
Yeah.
So every Trek meme out there.
He's the Trek version of Grumpy Cat.
Yes. We need to make that meme.
Sydney's new hairstyle definitely works. I was like, oh, hello, Sydney.
I did not notice.
So they get inside, and there are some Section 31 goodies here. I didn't get the first reference. The second pod seems to be Kirk's remains.
I know what the first one was. If you're going to Kirk, the first one was Genesis from Star Trek 2 and 3.
I didn't catch the
So
text
you're telling
on
me
the screen.
The Genesis. That's the Genesis device. It's
no, but they digged up Kirk's body. That's terrible.
I know.
Yeah,
I know. Maybe it's not. Maybe for like as far as Starfleet's concerned, a legend like him, maybe it's not necessarily the ideal place to be buried. But they didn't. Then theoretically, they never reburied him. They put him in a fucking Section 31 chamber. What the fuck?
I think the reason why they took him was because he was Locutus. Or you're talking about Kirk? I'm sorry.
Kirk.
I don't know. I guess that just seems like, hey, here's Kirk's body. If we ever figure out how to reanimate dead corpses.
No, they're doing research on curing rare STDs.
Oh. Oh, hey, we got that. Or, you know, it's the super blood. You know, it could be Kelvin timeline, Kirk, you know?
Oh, it could be. I mean,
he's
they
like,
do use
they're
that
like, hey, how do we
effect.
cure this rare form of Orion STD? I don't know. Try to inject Kirk's blood into him. He's resistant to all STDs.
It acts like the test from The Thing.
Oh God.
Oh my God! I'll stop memeing now.
No, never stop. Never stop. That was amazing. I love it.
Yeah, you got some from me, Daniel Vance like that. All right.
Live long and prosper, Daniel Vance.
And then he does say, what's the Thaleron device? Okay, the Thaleron generator.
For me,
device, it was Borg vacuum body of Kirk. So
for me, it was a fucking it was a tribble. I mean,
yes, I was just about to ask what you guys thought of the genetically engineered killer tribble.
Well, dude, immediately I was thinking aliens. You know what I mean? Like,
Dude, I want
yeah,
a whole
like the
series
face
based
hugger.
on. I want a whole series based on like those tribbles coming back and like attacking the Klingon Empire. Like they take over ships. They can you imagine?
That gets sent back in time as a weapon.
And then
Just
we got
disrupt.
more, and we got more of the banter between Riker and Worf as well because of that.
Yes,
Like Riker really doesn't never appreciated that. So Worf never really appreciated that banter. You could tell Riker's he loved doing it again, which was pretty cool.
yes, the bickering. I mean, Worf doesn't have. He's not, kind of subordinate to Riker anymore. So he just finally lets on. It's like, hey, never really cared for this dynamic. But then the station security IDs Will, and afterwards they see a holographic crow. Worf finds the
Well,
main.
I'm surprised they never thought it could be a changeling. You know what I mean? What have you done? You reversed yourself there, Cheetah.
Sorry.
Mirror Cheeto.
I'm surprised they never thought it was a changeling. I thought that would be one of the first things that would come to mind. Because changelings can turn into animals as well, can't they?
Yeah,
So,
they can turn into floorboards.
Yeah.
They can turn into freaking pendulum swings. They can turn into a dildo. I mean, they can turn into anything.
Yeah.
So
I mean, how do you think Odo and Kira got it on?
Oh my
why
god,
do you think
Jimmy.
she put up with all of his BS?
Right?
Yeah.
He's like, I'm happy to see you.
So after Worf finds the mainframe, music notes start playing. Moriarty appears and pulls a gun on them. We cut back to the Titan that's arriving at the Fleet Museum and gets hailed by Geordi, who is none too happy that they're here. When he arrives, though, he does hug Beverly, but he's curt to his daughter. And they kind of do some foreshadowing here, I think. They have him have what could be a throwaway line of, despite my objections, they're assembling I'm writing these memos objecting to them assembling the fleet for Frontier Day. It's like, okay, well.
Well, we really shouldn't get the whole fleet together at one place. And here's why. That should have been Geordi's clue that some shit's going down. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah, but he's a changed man now. He doesn't give a fuck. He's now a father of 2 daughters. What he gives a fuck about is keeping them alive. He's like, his whole priorities in life has changed. And this is what they've done with his character. I'm not necessarily happy with it, but that's how it goes.
Seems like he's kind of the old Geordi's waking up a bit by the end. And
maybe he seems very, just hearing him call Picard John Luke, it felt very weird. I mean, I could handle maybe Riker doing it, but he's now doing what is his rank anyway? Is he a Commodore?
Yeah, he's a Commodore, which is just below Admiral. So
okay.
Actually, I think isn't it a different type of Commodore?
It's weird in a way because it feels like as soon as people are captain, they immediately become admiral. Like they don't even become fucking Commodores.
Well, I think Commodore might be a different avenue. Like
I thought Commodore was like in charge of like people stationed at a place like a starbase.
Not just at a starbase. I think it might be like more of like a floor manager, and then Admiral's kind of like the corporate person. I don't know. Anyway, here's one thing that I did want to point out is that I think the reason why Geordi is where he is because of the whole Utopia Planitia incident. Because remember, Geordi was in charge of that. And then the entire Utopia Planitia incident with the synthetics happened. So maybe maybe Geordi did this on purpose to himself. He's like, you know what, I want to kind of do whatever over here, and I just kind of want to be out of the way. Maybe that kind of scarred him enough that he's like, I just don't want to be in charge of any big projects anymore. I just want to do a job and have it be low key.
No, it could definitely either be a punishment detail or self-penitence. I could see it being either of those things.
Man, Majo's goddamn words, man. Give that guy freaking $50 words right here.
Sorry.
No, you're great with words. Anyway, keep going.
So we cut back to the Daystrom station where Moriarty's firing the gun at them. They run away. Will remarks that this isn't the fully self-aware, dangerous Moriarty they're used to.
So it's not even
And
the same fucking Moriarty. It's a
right,
fucking copy. It's a copy of him. And but then again, why say I think therefore I am? Because they're harkening back to the original Moriarty. So it's just member buried, and it's really
yeah,
fucking stupid.
And-
Really
Moriarty
fucking
was.
stupid,
I say Moriarty was a big letdown in this one, and
Yeah,
honestly, like
wasted
I agree with
potential.
Zam. I agree with Zam that like it was a waste to bring him back, especially even put him in the trailers, because it
Yeah,
was
it's a
just
waste to
like,
bring him in the trailers. That's what I'm saying.
yeah,
You could,
and it was a waste, honestly. I mean, yeah, I guess if he was just in this episode and we didn't know he was coming, it would have been a little bit better. Kind of like Rolaren last week, it was kind of like, oh, that was a big shock because we didn't know she was coming. But it's like for his role was even less, and they put him in the freaking trailers. So I mean, I'm like, yeah, it's kind of a waste if there was no prolonged effects of Moriarty. Like I thought he was going to be a major villain this season, not just a cameo scene.
Yeah, I was almost expecting him to be the AI that was guarding Daystrom.
I knew I knew as of last week it was Data / lore / whatever was the AI at Daystrom, and Moriarty was the workaround. But I still was expecting there to be some kind of shenanigans where like they were working together or something.
See, now we don't know how much more of that trailer is a bait and switch. And so maybe the actual content will end up surprising us. And maybe they have some more.
If we see more of Moriarty in this and there's more to him than meets the eye, fair enough. But at this particular moment, it's been a massive letdown, and I wish he wasn't in the trailers in the first place.
It wasn't worth it to put him in the trailers because it was a big like shock, and we're like, oh my god, oh my god.
Well, then the theories happen. You know what I mean? And everyone's going on, like everyone's theorizing.
They created the buzz.
Mephisto style fucking theorizing. You know what I mean? Fucking apocalypse and all of that shit.
Oh,
you know what I mean? So, it's just stuff like that. It's not good because then you are letting people down when you reveal stuff like that. I mean, the editors, the filmmakers, the trailer designers, whatever, they should know this. It's never a good thing. Yes, it was. 10 points to Gryffindor.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
10 points to Commodore.
Yes.
The 5th Hogwarts house.
Yes.
So we, Jean-Luc had asked, Geordi to clone the transponder signal, but he said he couldn't, and even if he did, that the Titans communicating with the other ships in the fleet anyways. They're all interconnected in some vaguely not specific way. Meanwhile, while Riker hears music notes playing again at Daystrom Station, he starts putting it together what the tune is. And it's Pop Goes the Weasel from Encounter at Farpoint.
Yeah, and here it seemed very hand-fisted the way they did this because I'm as soon as that note hit and he's like A flat, I'm like, oh, so it's going to be a music thing. Okay. Like for me it was just like, okay.
For me, so you're going to give people clues in how to fucking shut down the fucking security AI? Is that what you're going to do here? What's the
Moriarty wasn't the security AI. He was the what's it called?
The what then?
It was a projection.
No, he was the roundabout or whatever. He was the one that was disturbing the AI like security measures.
Really?
No, that he was just something that the actual AI and mainframe was using to try to reach out to the crew.
Oh, really?
And also,
go ahead.
And also, like, don't get me wrong, like he should have precision shooting when he fires his gun, because he's like a computer generated AI. He should know exactly where to pinpoint that pistol. So the fact that he missed his shot, I was like, what? How is this possible?
He missed on purpose because he was trying to get them. He was trying to let them know.
Really?
Yeah, that was the whole point of the whole music tune thing. He was trying to get them to.
Thank God, fucking Riker is a musician. Daniel Vaughn says, "Is it Minuet?" Remind me who Minuet is. Would have made me happy to see Riker interact with Minuet again. Would have been pure comedy as she stalls him for time. I'm
Minuet
sorry, I
was
can't remember.
she was the holographic girl that Riker fell in love with.
Oh, I think I vaguely remember. Yeah,
That would have been I would have died if
That
it would
that
have to.
the
They would,
the
yeah, but they would have to
Binars
DH.
they souped up the holodeck and made a way more convincing and lifelike simulation than normally possible.
and she's got like
They would
triple
have.
D cups and stuff like that. It'd be great. It'd be right up
Yeah, but
Riker's out.
they would have to DH the fuck out of her as well and make her physically
Or
look like she's also that age.
or just get somebody who looks similar. I mean, you could probably get.
Oh
away with
yeah,
that.
those just find someone who looks similar. Yeah, no problem. They grow on trees,
Yeah, they
guys.
do.
I grew up
Beautiful
with,
women do grow on trees, guys. Come on, I see them all the time.
guys. I grew up with Star Trek all my life. 10 points to Gryffindor, to Commodore. Yeah, so did we, dude.
So Riker, points out that the mainframe is a new old data synth. How do you guys feel about this surprise? It just
Well,
more member berries.
once again, for me, is this should never have been revealed in the trailer. Not a fucking iota of this. This should have been this. This would have been a massive surprise. You know, like I said with Ro last week, these things need to be revealed in the fucking in the episode as we watch it. You know, you're doing a massive disservice to how people feel about certain shows and episodes if we already know it's coming. You know, it really does a massive disservice, and you know, it takes away the surprise factor, which is what we want. You know, if I had no idea that Brent Spiner was going to be in this show because we killed him off and stuff, and then there he is, and then then the speculation begins. Who is he? Is he B4? Is he Law? Is he Data? Is he all three? Which is what I'm thinking now. Actually, I think he's all three of them. You know, but I'll talk about that a bit later. But yeah, that's all thrown out the fucking window. You know, he's all four of them. He's even Sung as well. Yeah, he could be that. You know, he's like he obviously played Mortal Kombat. He's Triborg. You know what I mean? For Mortal fucking Kombat. You know, he's Cyrex and all that shit in one smoke. And what was the other one? Rector or what the fuck his name was. Yeah.
Yeah, I agree. I don't like the route they're going with this. Oh, it's a new combination synthoid, blah blah blah. It's like, just bring back lore. Like they're like, oh, it's a combination. Like, is this Lore's body? And like, but it's not, because it's an aging body. So it's like, where is Lore? Like, you could have just brought Lore back and just had him as like the AI that was running Daystrom, because they captured Lore and they integrated him into the system to guard whatever, to guard.
Yeah, he could have got information from the Borg and how to synthesize human skin on androids or whatever.
Yeah,
because what we saw with Data, and then
and Lore.
He could have looked more human, which is I'm totally fine with, by the way.
But now it's like we've got this whole new character. Yeah, now we got this whole new character that's Dalor Soonlal is what
Yeah.
I mean, the whole thing's so complicated that they have to have heavy-handed exposition that the characters somehow figure all this stuff out from just a couple of, computer displays. And they piece all this stuff together.
When it could just be Lore. I mean, I'm sorry. Like, it's just, and even wasn't B4's head even in there? Like, wasn't there?
It was mounted. Yeah.
Yeah. So it's like, how is B4 even in there if his head's right there? Like, I mean, they probably copied him, but it's like, why? He's a blank slate of Data. Like, why? Why is
Data did a Vulcan thing like he did to fucking Bones in Star Trek 2, but he did it to another version of himself in B4. And was able to put all his information in him, so it was a data transfer carrier or whatever.
I know it's just,
what I mean?
It is so it is so convoluted and so complicated, and Mage is right. Like they just exposition the crap out of it because they probably didn't even like, oh, is this a little too complicated? No, we'll just have Jean-Luc explain it. It'll be great. Like it's like, come on, guys. Like this is really not. You could have just made it simple. It could have been lore. They captured lore.
B4
Yeah,
had the
B4 had
extra port for data extraction.
Yeah. Because
Okay.
he shits data.
Yeah, but I mean, like this version of this android looks almost human, and for some reason, it looks like a pensioner as well. But fair enough, because Spiner is a pensioner himself, it totally makes sense.
As I said, I don't mind that. Like as I said, I
would
like
just add a bit more exposition in this of saying, well, this particular android has been given human skin. He's probably been sitting here for so long that he's aged. Boom. You know what I mean? And that would explain why he looks like an old fucking man.
I like your explanation about lore, and like he runs with the Borg for a little while, and he figures out how to
No,
do
he never said ran with the Borg. He just extracted information.
But the last
from
time
the
we
Borg.
saw lore, he was with that faction of the Borg. So
yeah, but that was before First Contact. So
so that doesn't mean they didn't have the technology at that point in TNG. They just obviously didn't.
Yeah, good point.
It's not like they invented it right there on the spot. They probably pulled it out of mothballs.
Yeah, but they could have done it on lore when they didn't. They did it on data first.
Yeah. Anyway,
So,
I'm just saying, like there's like 15 better ways they could have done this, and now it just seems like it's a big convoluted, 5 minds trapped inside of one body mess, and to me, it's just it's I don't like it. I think it's going to be a mess. I think it's going to be irritating. I think, don't get me wrong, Brent Spiner. I love Brent Spiner, and I think he's great at playing lore, at playing B4, at playing data, and all these things. But it's just going to be like that whole thing. It's like we're going to bounce back and forth between lore, data, lol, soon. Like all these. Basically, Spiner's greatest hits. We might as well throw in Puck from Gargoyles in there. Why not? Come on, it'll be great.
What was the name of that movie with fucking James McAvoy, where he plays? Is it Split?
Oh, Split, yeah.
Yeah, I mean
that's what's split, but with data.
It's gonna be split with data. It's gonna be all these different versions. So one minute
they're gonna be like, Lore, what have you done? And he's gonna be like, that wasn't Lore, that was Patricia. that.
But for we know, like it could be lore pretending to be data, even though we know that we might get data or before. Let's just see how that pans out. But yeah, it's going to be weird, and we still need to bring it up again when we talk about it in this play-by-play anyway. So anyway, where are we? By the way, are we on the ships yet?
We're back to the Fleet Museum. Geordi won't help. He's mad that Jean-Luc has endangered Sydney. We cut to Seven and Jack looking at the ships. The Defiant, the Enterprise A, the New Jersey. He loves old ships. He's a Connie class man, apparently.
Bleh.
I say, look,
I knew you'd do that.
Look, this whole reunion is missing one character that has not been reunited amongst all of these TNG characters. And you know who that is?
Barclay.
It's the Enterprise itself.
Whatever.
Now there are several Enterprises they could take. All right, fuck the Titan. It's a good ship, don't get me wrong, but everyone's looking for it. Let's take one of these Enterprises, whether it be the original Enterprise or the Enterprise A, or maybe even the Enterprise E could be fucking there. Let's just jump on board. Yeah, and now we've got the entire crew back together again. We've got the fucking Enterprise. We've got the fucking crew members. It's happy days. That's what they should have done. And then they throw the cloaking device on it and everything. Cool.
I mean, yeah, there's a lot. Okay, but here's my thing. They act like the universe is so small because like everything, almost every single ship on the list that you gave us here, Daniel, is like an Enterprise or a Enterprise adjacent like crewed member. You know what I mean?
Well,
like I get having the Enterprise, and honestly, you can't even have the Enterprise A because what did the I guess the Enterprise A helped the Kinnemer Accords, but what else? Oh, and they met God. Oh, so let's not forget that one. So like what? Okay, so you have that, and then it's like the Defiant. Yeah, it was
Well,
one of the
no,
main.
there was one ship missing, by the way, and that was Archer's Enterprise. That should have been there as well.
No, they
It
said.
wasn't.
Well, Daniel Vance said the NX refit was in there, so
Really?
Yep,
I'd
that's
have to
Because
go
Archer.
back. I have.
Jesse Gender mentioned it wasn't there, and so
Oh,
she knows her shit.
Well, I have not had a chance to go. I did not have an opportunity to go back and deep dive because you know me. I'll go back in and I'll like zoom and enhance and like do my
Yeah,
Minority
you will.
Report bullshit where I like zoom in
Yeah.
on all the ships.
Our
But
guy in the broken chair.
yeah, the guy in the broken chair. That's right.
I mean, they had everything in there, man. Like, I mean, every show was in there, but Enterprise, which was kind of surprising.
Well, they
But
said are you talking about the NX? You're talking about the D because the Enterprise D saucer section was in there. That's what they salvaged from the from Meridian 3.
really,
Mm-hmm.
what the fuck, man? Um,
Daniel Vance
all right,
confirmed it. I was wondering if I saw it, but Daniel Vance confirmed it.
I will have to definitely find one of those Trek channels where they fucking go through everything with a fine tooth comb and they don't get fucking copyrighted. Like not Trek First,
Trek
what
culture.
culture start Trek culture. That's it. Hopefully they'll show it. The NX appeared, but was the concept that was supposed to appear in season 6 of Enterprise. Season 6, you never even got past season 4.
They were, yeah, they were, but there were plans for a NX refit, which had a battle section to it when at the start of the Romulan War. So all the NXs would get new battle sections that were kind of just like attached to it, and they were like Enterprise like battle sections below it. So it takes like that top part, and then it kind of like attaches a battle section to the bottom. It's a really slick looking ship. I'm mad that Enterprise didn't make it that far. I thought the Romulan War would have been awesome, and yeah, just people were burned out from Trek back then. It was a burnout.
It had been on the air for something like
technology
over like 12 years straight or more, right?
That was more than 12, I thought.
Yeah,
because there was 7 years. There was 7 years of TNG and then 7 years of Voyager. Those are back to back. That's why I'm counting those.
And
That's 14 years, and then
DS9.
No, DS9 kind of ran concurrent. Okay, hold on. DS9 ran concurrently while TNG and Voyager were on. So what I'm saying is TNG ran 7 years, and then TNG ended, and then Voyager started. So I'm not discounting DS9, but it ran concurrently with both TNG and Voyager. So
yeah, but
making it simple,
Voyager did not. Yeah, but Voyager didn't continue after the end of TNG.
Yes, it did.
DS9 Voyager didn't continue after the end of TNG. No, it continued. DS9 continued for a bit, and then Voyager started a bit after that.
No,
TNG. Really?
Voyager started season 3 of DS9.
No, I'm talking TNG.
Exactly. TNG ended, and then Voyager replaced TNG.
Oh, really? Straight afterwards?
Yes, straight afterwards.
Okay, fair enough.
And then DS9 ran concurrently during the end of TNG and the rest of and the beginning of Voyager. Well, the majority of Voyager. So that's 14 years, and then there were 4 seasons?
4 years of Enterprise.
So 18 years. Yeah, 18 years of Star Trek in a row.
Original. That's not the original Defiant, but rather.
Yeah, it's a Sao Paulo. I know.
It was renamed after Diamond. Was showed by the Breen. It never had the cloak.
Right, they stole the cloak off the bounty.
That's a first. The chat error? I had no idea. We can't tell from here.
What chat error?
Must mean the YouTube chat.
I know I didn't see anything. I'm watching the YouTube chat on the YouTube thing. I don't know.
But we had 7 of 9. She gave this, her monologue about Voyager, and when she's showing
all the music as well, didn't we?
Yes, we heard the music.
Yeah, all the music for all the shows. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah.
7 says, that after she opens up to him, Jack kind of drops a little bit of Jean-Luc style wisdom, and 7 points out that how much he sounds like him. Then they look at the HMS Bounty, and Jack has another one of his clever ideas. Back at Daystrom, we get the exposition dump about the new data as a synth with Android interface, and we got the final log from Alton Soong, and what he says ends up kind of overlapping with the talk Jean-Luc and Geordi have about what you pass on.
Wait, I get confused with my songs, but there's so fucking many of them. Which one is this?
This is the one
from
that
season 1, correct?
Yeah, the one that gave Jean-Luc the positronic body. Or was
At
that
the end
Eric?
was it? He wasn't that old. He seemed a lot older in this.
Because he was dying, I guess. I don't know.
No. Anyway, but yeah, Anyway, the ship circling Daystrom Station say Sternbach to call. Sternbach refers to Richard Michael Sternbach, who wrote. Oh, of course you would know this sort of stuff, Daniel Vance.
I'm so glad to have him around.
Yeah. Hey, funeral friend, how you doing? You must have been really happy, your Lord and Savior didn't get arrested this week. Anyway, let's continue. We're talking about him tomorrow, by the way, as well as some DCU as well.
Yeah, we do talk politics on our Friday.
Yeah. You can come in on Friday.
Yeah, on our Friday chats.
So get
Trump.
more
Donald Trump. Sorry, go on.
No, it's all good. We got, the new data has law and B4 and lore, but mostly data like we talked about before. Geordi ends up ultimately choosing to protect his daughters over helping Jean-Luc. He calls Sydney in. He's wanting to make her stay there with him at the Fleet Museum. And she gets justifiably upset and says that if he believed in her, then he would believe in their cause.
I really do like the dialogue here between Sydney and Geordi. It almost is a payoff to all that like head banging references that she's been. Well, I am the daughter of engineer Geordi LaForge. It's like, okay, we get it. But like this interaction here, like it was done very well, but it almost seemed like she was very proud of being a LaForge until her dad was around. You know what I mean? Like, and she kept on referencing her dad like she was proud of it, but then she has this beef with her dad. And it's like, normally when someone has a beef with somebody, they don't want to like throw their weight around with that name. You know what I mean?
It almost seemed like she was...
Sorry, go on.
It almost seemed to me like she was scared of seeing her dad. She, like, not as much as until he started making her stay that she really had a beef with him. But she was...
No, I think she had a beef as soon as she showed up. Remember? They were kind of at odds when he beamed in.
I think that was just because he was mad at her for even being there in the situation. But
see, but that's the thing that kind of irritates me about Geordi. Geordi knows. Like, there's a line in here that I love that he's like, Geordi's like, let Starfleet handle it. And she looks at him and she says, I am Starfleet.
Yeah.
And I'm like, no shit, LaForge. Like Geordi, come on.
No, but yeah, she was calling Geordi out for being,
no, that's what I mean. No
hypocrite,
shit, Geordi. Like,
yeah,
he is Starfleet.
Yeah, exactly. And he's been very protective over his daughters, but at the same time, he's just been given the lowdown by Picard that saying, you know what, we've been infiltrated by the fucking changelings here. You're not protecting her from anything.
Yeah, they're gonna go after her anyway.
So we're all fucked here. And we need. He's such an asshole. he's such an asshole. Sorry, I apologize. Anyway, I lost my train of thought.
I've lost it too. So Jean-Luc and Seven go to find Shaw to try to strategize because once again Jean-Luc thinks the only answer is to fight. Jack talks to the girls and asks them how they feel about some light larceny. We cut back to Daystrom Station. Data is the manifest.
I just want to go back to Jack very briefly For a start, one of the daughter in the engineering uniform is actually LeVar Burton's real life daughter.
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
And yeah, and I'm feeling that when I get that feeling, I need sexual healing between Jack and Sydney. And you know what? Make it so, because I think they make a cute couple. You can tell there's something going on there. Jack is definitely like, putting on his player vibes on there, and Sydney definitely seems a little bit interested too. You know what I mean? I think
I
they would
wouldn't
make a nice couple.
I wouldn't mind it, but I hope to God that we're going to get a Titan spinoff show. You know what I mean? Like I hope
Really?
that if we're gonna do this, like if we're gonna like have this romantic, because I don't mind them either. I think they have good
I
chemistry,
think that's a great idea.
especially in this episode.
Yeah, a Titan spin-off show would feel like TNG next generation. It'd be great.
No, it'd feel like Strange New Worlds in the 25th century, like because you're on a Neo Constitution class vessel.
No, but it'd be still more to the TNG timeline, but obviously 20 years later. But it'll still feel like a continuation of this sort of period.
Mhm.
You know,
I'm
which
okay
would
with
be
that. I
good.
want more in this time. I want more in
Yeah.
the 25th century. The 25th century era is just not there's not been much there.
it's ripe for exploration.
Exactly.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, but yeah, I'm feeling Jack and Sydney. I'm not sure about you guys. You think it'll happen because Geordie LaForge, he sees what's going on, and
Oh
he
yeah,
don't
he said
fucking
stay
like
away
it.
from my daughter.
The
You
sister
can tell
was
he's
basically like,
overprotect.
slow your roll.
No, but you
No,
can tell
it's
like fatherhood has changed him completely. Like here's a guy, he's a very happy-go-lucky chap, very easygoing and stuff like that. Becomes a dad, and now he's become quite stubborn, as his daughters talk about him. He's very stubborn all of a sudden, and that's what fatherhood's done to him. So yeah, but Jack, being the bit of a rebel that he is, he's not gonna give a shit what LeVar, what Geordie LaForge says. He's gonna be making a beeline for Sydney, for sure. Yeah, he's gonna be going make it
And we're
yourself,
not
baby.
talking Australia, baby.
boy.
But we are
Yeah.
talking about down under.
Down under.
Yeah, for sure.
So on Daystrom Station, security shows up after they reveal the data is the manifest. On the Titan, Geordi is being sent off back to the shipyard, and Shaw kind of has this geek out moment, and it's another one of these humanizing moments for Shaw that maybe they won't backpedal on the development again, but but the ship starts to phase in and out. Turns out that the kids decided to steal the cloak off the bounty, and when they did that, Starfleet was alerted. The kids can't get the cloak to work. Geordi comes down and saves the day. Jean-Luc contacts the away team, who are getting ready to extract the new data synth. Riker
By the way,
covers.
did we mention earlier? I'm not sure if this happened before, when Liam Shaw basically geeked out having Geordie on his
Yeah,
bridge.
he mentioned all that just like 2 minutes ago.
Oh, sorry, I must have missed that. I apologize.
No, how did you feel about that humanizing moment for Shaw?
I guess it's okay to a degree. I don't know really. Like, he has Picard and Riker on the ship. Don't give a fuck. He has Geordie on the ship, who was also part of that whole fucking Locutus thing. He was his engineer. So, and now but because he's also an engineer, he geeks out. I almost find that a bit weird, to tell you the truth. I thought he would see past that, personally.
I think that Shaw kind of like thinks of Geordie, as somebody, in the middle of the command structure, being someone who is just going along with orders. And because they were both engineers, he's more apt to try to find the justification, or like see commonality, common ground. I'm probably overreading into it.
I mean, I know I agree. It felt like an odd moment. Like for me, it was an odd moment where I'm like him geeking out over Geordie was like, okay, like like Zam said, you have Jean-Luc and you have Captain Riker on your bridge, and You know, and I get him not liking Picard. I get that. Riker's done nothing to him, you know. So besides,
Riker was willing to kill Picard in that moment.
Yeah.
He said fire, you know, and all of that sort of shit.
So I mean, I think it's just the fact he's engineer, and I don't know.
we're
It is
brothers,
kind
you
of an
know.
odd moment to me. It was kind of
Yeah.
an odd moment to me.
It's a little bit out of character. But Riker gets hit by
Sorry,
no?
just a couple of comments here. Spoilers, some of the upcoming soundtrack names include Protest, Dominion, Frontier Day, Hail the Fleet, Battle on the Bridge. The
Okay,
Missing
first off,
Part
Battle
of
on the
Me.
Bridge. Are we getting into Final Fantasy here?
Fantasy 5? Oh yeah. It's one of the best Uematsu tracks ever.
Yeah, whatever. Engineering used to include people following orders, all automated
Fucking
now.
nerds.
Sure enjoyed the from a different era of engineer. Yeah,
It is nice.
I'm still saying that. I'm just saying that he's still part of that Picard contingent. So when he's able to really hold a massive grudge against those motherfuckers, yet here is Picard's engineer, and you're cool with it. You know what I mean? Because like it just it just feels a bit weird. You know what I mean?
feel this is kind of a captain that we haven't seen before too. I meant to mention this before about Shaw, but you know, you don't see very many captains that come from engineer status. You know what I mean? Like you have like Janeway was a science officer before she was a captain. Kirk was I believe a con officer or at least an ops officer before that. Picard was an operations officer, I believe.
Sulu was a pilot.
Sulu was Sulu was a con officer. Archer was technically like a con officer.
Well,
he was a pilot, you know.
What was God, why have I forgotten his name
Cisco?
now? Cisco, yeah.
He was in Red in the flashbacks, so he was in the command division.
He might have, because he did help develop the Defiant. Maybe that's the close, but they never specifically state he was an engineering division. Like he was never stated to have been an engineer, a grease monkey.
Scotty became a captain as well, by the way.
Who?
Scotty ended up becoming
I'm talking about the main captains, though. I'm not talking about like, you know, even Burnham. Like Burnham was a science officer, and so was Saru. Technically, Lorca was technically security before he was, you know, before he got the captain's chair. But it's like you never hear about the engineers that you know. You know, any engineers that go to and I mean, yeah, you can have an engineer that earns the rank of captain, but I'm talking about like a captain that is in command of like a starship long term. Scotty, I think, was just captain in rank. I don't think he was in command of that ship when it crashed and they went in the transporter buffer, right? I don't remember.
Captain in rank,
going to his retirement property, basically.
Yeah.
And crash.
He's captain in rank, but that theoretically does mean that you can captain the starship.
Theoretically, I mean, like Riker, like he's technically, like even Shaw said, like, you know, Riker said, "I'm a captain," and he said, "with no chair," you know, like. So no, you're right. It's possible he is just a captain in rank. I mean, look at Spock. I think Spock only commanded the
captain.
Spock was captain, but he captained the Enterprise for a very short time prior to Wrath of Khan. But then Kirk took over the Enterprise. Like
Did
right
Beverly become a captain in one of those sort of future episodes? Because
who?
Beverly Crusher, like one of those episodes where you see in the future
things.
Yeah.
But even then, that's medical division.
I mean, and that's even more rarer to see a medical officer become a fucking captain.
Well, that's why I've always said they should have a medical ship show. Like I think that'd be fun. Like not with.
I never liked the fact that because we're a medical ship we can't have any fucking weapons. Like bitch, put the fucking guns on this goddamn thing. Just because we're delivering medicine doesn't mean that we can't fucking defend ourselves.
Well, that's like the Enterprise D. They're like, oh, it's a family ship, and then you got like 15 phaser banks and 80 photon torpedo
battle friggin' bridge.
Yeah, battle bridge. I'm like, this is a family ship. That's like Disney walking around with like putting that. Oh, let's go fuck some shit up.
That's a pretty good Mickey, Cheeto. Oh Lord. So Riker gets caught after being hit with the transport inhibitor, and the Titan grabs who they can and leaves. Worf vows to bring Riker home, Jack comes in and kind of apologizes to Jean-Luc. He lists his flaws, then starts listing his redeeming qualities. And the first batch he attributes to his mother, and then he lists some that he says, maybe I didn't get just all bad bits from you.
Yeah, like you mentioned things like loyalty, like, well, your mum's
Yes.
not loyal. What you say?
I mean, she did run out on everybody for 20 years. I mean, let's
Yeah,
be real.
she ghosted Jean-Luc.
Yeah,
And
I
that's
guess
that's her
I guess.
jam.
She
She loves
usually
ghosting
used to
people.
getting ghosted. Yep.
That's the big meme right now too.
Yeah, that's a good one. But Jordy and Sydney have a heart-to-heart, and she reveals that the reason she always crashed speeders was so that she could spend time with her dad fixing them. The old crew gets together and reactivate the new data, despite the personalities not being integrated fully yet. They ask him what was taken, and he only answers with Jean-Luc Picard. Lore manifests, then B4, then Alton Sung, who says that this new synth is something more.
Great acting by Brent Spiner, by the way, to see him like switch between these characters.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, he's a master.
Yeah, I mean, I take nothing away from Brent Spiner in this. I just feel like
great actor.
The writing and the
idea is bad.
Yeah,
the execution's going to save a bad idea. Hopefully.
Let's hope. Yeah, let's hope. Because I mean, there's been a lot of bad Brent Spiner Soon roles, but like Brent Spiner, like in season 2, we had another Soon, and we're like, oh god, here we go, another Soon. But Brent Spiner saves another Soon pretty much because he's so good at it, So
yeah,
let's hope that
he's a superb actor.
Oh yeah,
I'm surprised he's done so little outside of the sci-fi realm, because he's very good at everything.
I think he just got pigeonholed into that data role.
Like he's got so much range.
Yeah, he has. Yeah,
absolutely.
I remember I saw him in an episode of Outer Limits. I'm not sure if you saw that episode. Mm-hmm. Oh, it was a really good episode of Outer Limits, and obviously he was in Independence Day as well, which was great.
He was in Gargoyles. He played Puck.
He was in a superhero movie.
He was?
Yeah. He was the scientist at the beginning of it.
Oh, maybe I haven't seen that one. That might be one I haven't seen.
Michael Dorn's also been in Outer Limits as well, by the way. But it was really
Trekkies
good to see
follow
him.
each other, because you know how many Star Trek actors from TNG were in Gargoyles? Like there was all of them except for I think Patrick Stewart. Like I'm pretty sure every single one of them except for Will Wheaton and Patrick Stewart were on Gargoyles.
Such a great show, though.
Oh, it's so fantastic.
So,
there's a comic right now continuing the story. It just started coming out.
I'm going to have to check that out then.
I know. I'm going to call my comic store and be like, hey, I need you to start pulling this. I read about it the other week, and I was like, oh, shit. I got to tell my dude to start pulling it for me. Anyway, keep going.
So the new synth projects a hologram of Jean-Luc's corpse while saying Jean-Luc Picard. That's what the changeling stole, was Jean-Luc's body. Maybe so. Yeah,
his original body.
His original human body. Yes.
Do you think it's because of all the Borg implants in it?
Maybe
it could be
nanoprobes.
That's what I was saying. Like, I feel like there's something that has to do with the Borg here, and they're kind of holding, like, they're not really revealing that, and they're doing a good job at not revealing that. But like, I feel like there's something going on with the Borg and with Jack and with the changelings and all. Like, I feel like a lot of this is going to intertwine together in a certain way, and it's either going to go really okay or really bad. I really feel like that's where we're heading. And if it's Shinzon, I don't know. Like
Shinzon, no, he's been. Oh, it's going to be another clone.
Here's the thing.
They're already retreading.
They're already retreading a lot. So
but he have a different personality and everything. He won't have a grudge because he's a different person.
But here's the thing. I've said this since the beginning of the show. Jack Crusher looks like Tom Hardy. I'm sorry, he does. Like it's damn, you're the only one who doesn't agree with me on this. He's got the lips. He's got the kind of the facial structure of Tom Hardy. What if they're going to throw a bald cap on Jack Crusher, and it turns out that Shinzon is back, and they just recasted him or whatever.
Yeah, but fucking, she came out of fucking Bev's vag. She knows this. You know what I
No,
mean?
but that's what I'm saying. But if he's a version of Shinzon, not Jack, he's going after Jack to get.
Even if the version of Shinzon was still a clone of Picard, even if all that matters is how you brought up. You know, if you brought up on a fucking planet, you're treated as a slave and you have a grudge on your fucking back, fair enough. But if you brought up, with a mom and all of that, does it really matter? I mean,
No, okay. I'm talking about two separate people here. Shinzon is
Yeah.
after Jack because he wants to harvest his
Okay.
organs.
Also, another Shinzon. Okay.
So yeah, either another Shinzon or the same one. I don't think there'd be another one. He blew up. He blew to smithereens. So it would have to be another clone.
He got stabbed and he pulled the blade through his body.
Yes.
You
So
know what
it's.
I mean?
I would say it would have to be another version of Shinzon, like Jack. I mean, like another
And this
young.
Shinzon would have to be, in my opinion, a different type of Shinzon as well.
Yeah,
a different.
I don't think it would be the original. I just
but I just wanted to have a different personality to the original, because he would be brought up differently, I guess.
Nurture versus nature.
Maybe he would be like the clones in Star Wars, where they are sped up. I mean, he was sped up as well, wasn't he? I guess.
Who? Shinzon? Yes, he was.
Yeah, he was sped up. Okay, yeah, fair enough. All right.
So for our final scene, we cut to Riker being beaten and interrogated. After he says he's not going to talk, the main interrogator shoots the other security officers and then morphs into Captain Vadic. Either they were already on the strike or Riker's taken to the
It's
strike.
not Captain Vadic. It's Honey Bun.
I'm so sorry. It morphs into Honey Bun. And
yeah, and
Vatty Bun. There we go. Captain Vatty Bun.
Captain Vatty Bun. You heard it on NerdTube first. That's the official name. So it turns out that, sure, Riker's not going to talk for just being beaten, but they've taken
he took
Deanna.
a beating, by the way.
He did.
He took a fucking beating. It's like Honey Bun thought, let me beat him up a little bit. And then she kills those fucking the Starfleet people who were theoretically innocents, because they were genuine. Following orders sounds awful, but they were people in Starfleet, which is why she killed them. So and then for a brief second, Riker thinks, okay, this is pretty cool, and then realize, oh shit, it's Honey Bun, and then he's back in the shitter again.
Yep, they have Deanna.
So Daniel Vance has a really good point here, and I didn't think about this because I don't think about early TNG as much as anyone, or I don't like early TNG anyway. There's another Picard body. Picard killed himself to stop a time loop in TNG, and then the episode was season 2, episode 13, Times Squared. And I do remember this episode now that you brought it up. I mean, it could be that Jean-Luc. Obviously it would be a much younger Jean-Luc, but what's the point? It's, I think, what we're trying to get to.
Yeah, what can they achieve with the body?
Oh, and then of course the block is asking, is the Borg time traveling? Is this a Q show? This coming from a guy who really doesn't watch Star Trek all that much.
Yes, it is. It is the Q show.
But 10 points to Commodore by answering the questions of the troll, the block.
Yes.
And don't spoil it for him. Maybe he wants to watch it one day. Maybe somebody on your house hasn't seen the end of Picard season 2.
He'll watch it in his fucking dreams.
Yeah. No, that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to put him in a Cardassian interrogation room. I'm going to wedge his eyes.
You mentioned Kardashian, you'll think of fucking Kim. Kanye's fucking ex-wife. Yeah, so
I don't know where to go with that.
No,
Go ahead.
I've got no
you mentioned
follow-up.
Kardashian. That's what he's thinking. That's what he's thinking
I know.
right now. Yeah.
So that was our
anyway.
episode. Pretty good stuff, other than heavy-handed with the exposition. And
I wanted him to, when Riker saw his wife, when he saw Maria, when he saw Deanna Troi. I got to stop calling her Maria Sirtis, because, in my opinion, she's playing herself now, and she's not playing Deanna Troi anymore. I don't think she can do that voice. that Deanna Troy voice. Because Maria Curtis just sounds like a Cockney lady, like me. Well, I'm not a Cockney. I'm not a lady, but you know, what I mean, sounds like a Cockney.
You do sound like a Cockney
me.
lady.
Fair enough.
Sound
And
like a cock and lady.
And that she had that special voice for Deanna Troy, which was a million miles away from her original voice. But Deanna should have had her daughter with her as well. You know, like what your daughter don't mean shit. You know, like
Could
Raka
be
has a
being held
kid
somewhere else.
Yeah, but I just
they would parade them both out.
Yeah, like they mentioned, like, we're gonna find that we're gonna deep dive with these motherfuckers and find out every person they care about. That would be his kid as well. You know, so
I mean, truth be told, we don't know if there was someone else. We didn't see the full scope of the cell. Like, yeah, she may be there. They just didn't show her at the end of the episode, or
why not?
I don't know. This is
because you know why not?
Because
she wasn't in the fucking cell.
Sense.
You know why? You know why? Because she wasn't in the fucking cell. Because if she wasn't in the cell, you would have showed them both. You know what I mean? They wouldn't have her sitting in the fucking corner.
I don't care. I'm not trying to justify it. I'm just saying maybe she's there. I wouldn't put it past Picard to not show her in the final scene, and then all of a sudden, boom, she's there next episode.
Is that how you spell Locutus?
Yeah,
I thought I had the E in it.
No, there's no E. Low.
Anyway, Locutus, Locutus. Right. It sounds like locust. Or passed on to Jack. So yeah, I can see so Jack's got some Borg. You know, like as I said earlier, last week, when Picard shot his load into Beverly, his load had Borg nanobots inside it, and that helped create Jack the way he is. So he's got a bit of Borg in him too.
That sounds about on par for. Actually, it's more clever than anything Picard would probably end up doing with this show. But, an enjoyable watch, but I feel like they're setting up for that downward spiral that each season of this show has had, at least in my opinion.
I feel like they started last episode with that. Like, as I said, I after the first 4 episodes, I really feel like it started that spiral. Like, it happened in Picard season 2 as well. Picard season 1 was that way the whole time, but like Picard season 2 was the same way. We got to about that midpoint of the season somewhere, and then all of a sudden it just starts to kind of.
I want Jack and Sydney to get along, and the next thing you know, Geordie and fucking Picard are now related.
Okay.
Yeah, they're father-in-laws. You know.
Yeah, let's just get them married next episode. Let's just do it. Shotgun wedding, baby.
No character development, just get to the payoff.
Yeah, right. I mean, that's how guys
Picard.
I mean, regarding whoever this data android, is it going to be just Law? Is it Law just playing a long con game and pretending to be a multitude of characters, including a little bit of himself? You know, but the reality is it's Law all along for all those characters. Is that what's happening? Law is a very deceiving person, you know. So a very deceiving, cybernetic organism. So we'll see how that pans out and what's his whole role in all of this. I do feel we need more interactions with Honey Bun and the main crew, because she's a good character, but she really works when she's communicating with the original with the original crew. The red shirt wedding sounds bloody.
That would be the red wedding.
Yeah.
For all you Game of Thrones fans. Yeah, that's right. I know Game of Thrones things. I know.
So. You heard of the red wedding? You haven't fucking watched it for shit.
Yeah, I haven't watched it for shit. I've heard of the red wedding though.
The red wedding's awesome, man. That was a great scene. Great scene. Season 3, I think episode 9. Great scene. You know what I mean? So Daniel. Daniel, but Bev took everything out of Picard that was Borg. But Picard could still heal the Borg. Well, there was you couldn't take everything out.
I thought they couldn't take everything out. I thought he still had some Borg parts in him. Like, not as much as Seven. Like, Seven had more Borg because she had been.
She was Borg for most of her life.
Yeah, she was with them, the collective, for so long. But Locutus had only been with them for a short time, so they were able to remove most of it. But I think there was still some Borg stuff left in him.
I'm surprised he had. Always bugged me the most was the look he kept both of his eyes. Like you would have thought one of his eyes would have been a Borg eye. You know, what happened to Seven. You know, so.
Well, do we want to mark it, fellas?
Oh crap! I gotta do the poll. Okay.
All right, you do the poll. Zam, we'll start with you while Chico
Nice.
handles the poll.
Well, as I said earlier, it wasn't this episode's fault, but the revelations in this episode were stuff that should have been kept at the trailer, which kind of spoiled the surprises that this episode would have given us. But you could tell the way this episode was directed and shot that we weren't supposed to find out these things from a fucking trailer. You know what I mean? We weren't supposed to find out who fucking Moriarty was in this. We weren't supposed to find out about whoever Brent Spiner's playing. So those things bugged me the most. The member berries were massive in this episode. I mean, pretty much everything. Every original crew member was in this episode. Every single one of them. You know what I mean? So
except for Barkley and O'Brien.
That came back, and then we saw all the fucking ships too as well. This episode, nostalgia wise, would have really hit you, and it was an okay episode too. I mean, I think the nostalgia kept. Yeah, you know, whatever. You know, it was a good episode. It definitely hit the nostalgia buttons. I'm going to give it a very, very. Yeah, I mentioned Deanna. I did mention that every is Deanna. It could.
Oh no, he's saying is Deanna.
Yeah.
I thought that too when I saw her. Is that a changeling? Like, how do we know that's actually Deanna?
Yeah. I mean, what Riker needs to do is ask her some questions. But yeah, I'm going to give this episode a very, very generous 8. I've been giving 8s a lot recently. It's become my magic number. But yeah, I'm just having fun with this show this entire season. I'm having a lot of fun with it. Yeah, I know they're pulling on my nostalgia strings. I'm very aware of that, but they're doing it right. Sometimes you can go down the member berry route, and I can roll my fucking eyes at it. But so far, even with some of the most obvious things, by showing every fucking ship in almost every show of Star Trek, even that didn't bug me too much. In fact, it was good to go down that memory lane. I fucking enjoyed it. Yeah, 8 out of 10. You know, and Jack and Sydney. I want that to happen just to piss LaForge off. You know what I mean?
All right. Yes, sir.
I'm going to give it a 7 because although yes, the nostalgia ships was great. Yeah, I am rooting for Jack and Sydney. I think that would be a great pairing. I just don't want it to be in this season and then just be nothing. Like I want there to be a spinoff of Picard into something else so that we get to see more of it. But there's just some things in this episode that just kind of bugged me. And especially the Data thing. I'm done with Data. I'm sorry. Like he died in Nemesis. He died at the end of season 1. I was totally stoked when I was like, cool, we're getting lore instead of Data this time. Nope, now we're getting all of the Soong robots in one body. And it's like,
well, we don't know that yet. It could be a long con by lore, you know, as I'm saying.
Don't think so, but if I'm wrong, I'm wrong. And yes, Daniel Vance, we do need O'Brien. O'Brien and Barkley all need to make cameos. They need to come back and save the day. The final episode is going to be O'Brien and Barkley just blowing the crap out of the changelings.
A Dwight Schultz cameo would be really good.
3.
I wouldn't mind a Dwight. Yeah, I still personally want to see Janeway in this. You know, I do.
I mean, maybe another cameo. I'd have her on a view screen, I guess. You know, she'll be working in a prison kitchen or something like that, and she'll be like, "This is Admiral Janeway here."
God, she's fucking turned into fucking
know.
Steve Irwin. You know what I mean? Like fucking crocodile hunter. You know,
crikey, mate. Right. There's a snake in between my legs.
Okay.
All right.
What are you giving it?
I'm gonna give it a 7. There were strong performances that helped get it to that rating for me, but a lot of the problems Cheeto had with the heavy-handed exposition and just the general questioning of is this going to be a good plot line? It's just kind of I'm seeing it starting to have those death throws. But the solid performances, particularly out of Frakes and Spiner, put it up there at a solid 7 for me.
Okay.
So, want to thank everybody who's been in the chat this evening. Want to thank anybody who comes after the fact and watches this video down the road. Being on NerdTube is for the fans, and want to thank you, gentlemen, for joining me tonight. It's a pleasure as always. Do you want to tell the folks about what we've got coming down the pipe?
Okay. You want to take it?
I can take it.
Go on.
So tomorrow we have a fan film coming out at around 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. It's I believe this one is I don't remember now. But it's a good fan film. It's a good one. It's the best one you've ever seen in your entire life. It's a fan film reaction. It'll be great. I actually really don't remember what one it is. It's a Star Wars one. I do remember this one now. And actually, it's me, Boss Man, and Ginger Greek are reacting to this one. No Zam. So Zam's gonna be watching this for the first time. So
it better be better than that fucking Thrawn. Is it the Thrawn one?
No, it's not the Thrawn one. That was like ages ago. That one's already been out.
Man, look, you guys fucking, were fellatiating that fucking fan film. And the thing that bothered me the most was the fact that Thrawn was playing goddamn chess, a fucking game that comes from our fucking planet.
Doesn't mean that chess hasn't been to Earth. Doesn't mean
you don't fucking know. There's no fucking Earth in this fucking universe. Yeah.
No, it is in this universe. It's in a galaxy far, far away, a long, long time ago.
All right.
But it's still in our universe, motherfucker.
Yeah, but regardless, you're not playing fucking chess,
Whatever.
And it's far, far away. It's before fucking chess was probably invented. You know what I mean? So, fuck all this. Fuck that fucking thing. I fucking hated it, and I wish I was on that fucking reaction to shit on that fucking fan film to high fucking heaven.
Whatever. I think you even commented on it when it came out. So,
yeah.
Anyway, also tomorrow night, me and Ginger and possibly any one of our other contributors can join. But we do the world has gone mad. Let's chat. Where basically we talk anything. We even talk about the taboo topics of politics, which we do not tend to talk about here as much on our reviews. But we kind of go no holds barred on our Let's Chat, and we let the chat kind of drive it wherever they want to go, wherever they want to talk about. We talk about it. Go ahead, Sam.
I just want to say the two guaranteed topics we're going on about tomorrow is the whole DCU shenanigans regarding Shazam, The Rock with Black Adam, all of that, where things were going. The fact that the Rock basically was trying to take over this particular outfit, didn't want Shazam to be in his own movie, even though Shazam and Black Adam are linked heavily. They are each other's enemies. They are. They play off each other all the time, and the fact that he didn't want that to happen, and then he shoehorned in for fucking Henry Cavill to come back as Superman, just for Henry Cavill to get fired again. There's a lot of stuff to talk about regarding all of that and our opinions on that. So we're talking about that, and of course, probably one of the biggest news weeks regarding in America regarding what a lot of people assumed was going to be the indictment of Donald Trump, that I personally didn't think was going to happen, and I'm surprised a lot of people did. It almost became like the fucking, people were expecting the rapture to happen for people on my side of the political aisle, and it didn't fucking happen. I mean, the fact that people were so excited about it happening and it was so obvious that it wasn't going to happen kind of pisses me off, because I expect people on my side of the political aisle to fucking know a lot better, to know better. But yeah, we'll be talking about that as well and seeing if he ever will be arrested or whatever. I personally think it'll never fucking happen. There's more chance of fucking hell freezing over and fucking Cheeto fucking getting a passport and doing a round trip around fucking 20 countries.
Okay.
Yeah. All
And
right.
then
So
next
yeah,
week we
join us
have
for that.
next week we have our normal reviews. We're Quantum Leap, Mandalorian, and
Yeah,
then we're
penultimate episode of Quantum Leap, by the way. It's getting really interesting. A lot. Are you guys watching Quantum Leap at all?
no.
No.
What the hell's wrong with you guys? Start binging those fucking episodes.
I don't have it's
Today.
on NBC.
Do
I
it.
don't have
Do it.
it doesn't come
Sorry,
out on
yeah.
any of my streaming services. I don't have cable.
All right. Well, you know, where is a will, there is a way. But regarding tomorrow's debate chat as well, we're not going to just be talking about Trump and the DCU. We're going to be talking about a whole bunch of other things that's happened in the last fucking 7 days. So please join us for that. Ben will jump and fix them not watching. Never fear. Yeah, these guys are not watching it. Daniel Vance, they're fucking crazy, man. It's the greatest fucking show of all time. For fuck's sake. Anyway, all right, I'm done.
Okay. Well, thanks again to everybody who came out tonight. Please consider giving this video a like, sharing it out, subscribing to the channel. Let us know in the comments below what you think. Are our marks off the mark, or are we right on the money? Please let us know down below. And thanks for coming. You've been watching NerdTube, the best channel that you've sort of, kind of, almost never heard of. Live long and prosper.
Peace and long life.
And the